So one of the big innovations which we've recently introduced at the beginning of October is our AI bot, which is essentially pulling together all of our systems information, our flight information, display screens, our tracking of passengers, regulations, documentation, everything into one central source, which then provides a capacity for the customer to talk directly with us for whatever piece of information they want to improve the flow of their journey through Birmingham Airport. And it's a real big initiative, because through a lot of our insight works which we've done, we established that the majority of our customers want to self-serve, but it's generally just some basic information. What that allows us then to do is for our one-to-one touch points to look after those customers who have families who require travel, assisted travel, so people with wheelchairs, visible disabilities, and those with. That gives a real sense of actually generating the customer's journey in a much more positive way, that they can self-serve, and a journey through Birmingham Airport becomes much more seamless. Yeah, baggage is always a big challenge for airports, and again, a lot of that's infrastructure led. Big thing for us is our lack of capacity to being able to deal with growth. So our structure and our profile of our customers is very peaky. So arriving passengers all at once coming and having the right level of baggage capacity available, and how we can use AI again to support the baggage journey, being able to allocate to the right belt, which has got the right level of capacity on it, and the right spatial around it, so that customers can retrieve their bags quickly, but also how we then balance off the process of customers coming through immigration, which is going to be a big challenge for all airports in the UK, because as we move towards contactless borders in the next 6 to 12 months, that journey through immigration is going to reduce by half. So customers are going to get to the baggage belt quicker than they even do now. So being able to manage that capacity and that efficiency of delivery is going to be a real key challenge for airports, and Birmingham in particular. So we're investing £76 million a year, so about £1.5 million a week. And that's over 10 years, every year for 10 years. So that's a massive investment which our shareholders are making into our infrastructure and our assets to make Birmingham the airport of choice within the Midlands region. Some of that is capacity led. Other parts of that is just around the general customer experience. A significant investment into our digitalisation to move people away from static screens, so that people can do that on the move and not really reliant upon that. Investments into lighting, wayfinding, which meets our sustainability, but also in terms of what we've got available in the departure lounge, which is more food and beverage, more departure lounge seating capacity, better gate experiences where people aren't having to queue in quite confined areas, to give that more spatial facility to our customers. So that's a lot of the investment which we're doing in the terminal, but it's airport wide. We are quite an old building, and one of our big things is heat and ventilation. So the terminal's quite warm in the summer and it's even colder during the winter. We've got to invest probably circa about £15 million just to get our HVAC systems right, because happy passengers, more comfortable passengers will have a better experience of using Birmingham Airport. So it's a long-term strategy which has got the support of our shareholders. Yeah, so that's a big part of my job. I manage from curb to gate. So it's not just my own internal stakeholders of my departments, but it's ground handling agents, it's airlines who are part of that overall journey. So it's a big challenge. Data sharing is part of that, which is part of that challenge, because on the ground handling side, they have different objectives to what we as an airport want. They get paid for on-time performance, aeroplane taking off on time, call everyone to the gate early. Well, that's not what the customer wants. It's certainly not what I want, because I lose dwell, I lose spend in that. So finding that balance. So it's about stakeholder engagement and management across the teams, and transparency. And this is what we did within our customer journey, was we brought everybody into the room so we could identify each other's frictions points within that, and then how we could mitigate those as best as possible to get that customer's journey as seamless. And our collaboration between stakeholders is absolutely fundamental to our customers' success and us as a business. Great events. I think this is my fifth one for this particular summit. I think the level of engagement and the quality of the speakers is really good. I think the topics which we've been discussing this morning, there's things which we're doing that others aren't, and vice versa. So I think one thing which airport communities do come together is share information and share data and share experience. And that's one of the good things you get out of these. So not just being able to tell Birmingham's story on the stage, but listening to all the others from the big airports, which we've heard from this morning. We've heard from Miami, but we've also heard from Fredericton, I think it's called in the west of Canada, a much smaller airport, and everything in between. So everybody can learn off experiences, and it's just about scale at the end of the day. Numbers are just a number on a page, really. So that's just a good thing, and being able to talk, and then that socialising piece is good within the networking with vendors who obviously want to sell you stuff, but you get real good value in terms of whether they're an existing vendor with ourselves or someone who's wanting to get into Birmingham. So it gives that ability to engage in those discussions.